Duopoly. What is duopoly? It is a market situation. There is a two sellers and many buyers buying a homogeneous product. Technically, duo means two, poly means selling. Therefore, duopoly refers to a market situation in which there are only two sellers selling homogeneous products. The two firms may either resort to competition or collusion. Collusion is nothing but agreement. Now, features of duopoly. There are only two sellers in the market. This is the first feature. The second feature, there is no product differentiation and hence goods are homogeneous. So the homogeneous product is the second feature. The third feature, the consumer are indifferent between two sellers and the same price must be charged by both in the long run. These are the features of duopoly. Pricing under duopoly. Economists like Cornott, Edgeworth and Chamberlain have given their models to explain price output determination under duopoly. Let us discuss Cornott model. Augustin Cornott, a French economist, has explained the pricing under duopoly by taking examples of two mineral springs situated side by side and owned by two persons who market their commodity. I repeat, example of two mineral springs situated side by side and owned by two persons who market their commodity. He explains his model under following conditions. The first condition, there is no product differentiation, homogeneous product. Number two, there is no cost of production. There is no cost of production. The third one, the demand curve for both sellers is a straight line demand curve. The fourth one, the two sellers never change the output. The output rival is fixed. The fifth condition, the average cost and marginal cost becomes zero. These are the conditions. Based on condition, we can explain this Cornott model with the help of diagram. In this diagram, DM is the total demand curve of two sellers. MC and MR as assumed as 0. Suppose ON is equals to NM. So DM is the total demand curve of two sellers. Okay, suppose ON is equals to NM. So NM is equals to ON is the maximum daily output of each mineral spring. The total output of both ON plus NM is equals to OM. So ON plus NM is equals to OM. If the two producers produce the maximum quantity of OM and is offered in the market, the price will be 0. This is because the cost of production is assumed to be 0. So if the two firms produce this much of commodity, then the price of that commodity becomes 0 because the cost of production is 0. Cornott assumed that the first producer, Mr. X, start production before Mr. Y enters into the field. Mr. X will produce ON. Mr. X will produce ON. That is half of OM. That is half of OM. OM, that is ON is the half of OM. Quantity and the fix the price at OP. So the first firm produce ON amount of commodity and fix the price OP. Hence the maximum profit would be ONCP. ONCP is the maximum profit as shown in the diagram. Now the second producer, Mr. Y, enters into the field. He will produce NQ. He will produce NQ. That is the half of NM. That is half of NM. NM is the total one. The half of the total one is NQ. Quantity and the fix at price OP1. And fix at price OP1. So second firm is producing NQ amount of commodity and they fix the price OP1. Now the total output of two sellers will be ON plus NQ. ON plus NQ. OQ. That is, OQ is the total production of two firms, which is 3/4 of the total output of the two springs. 3/4 of OM. So total is OM. The OQ is the 3/4 of OM. Since the second producer, Mr. Y, has fixed the price at OP1, which is less than the price fixed by Mr. X, that is OP. Mr. X should also bring down the price from OP to OP1. So Mr. X wants to reduce the price from OP to OP1. He cannot sell at a higher price since the product is homogeneous. Now, profit for the first producer, Mr. X, is ONAP. ONAP. Now the profit is reduced. ONAP1. And profit for the second producer, Mr. Y, is NQBA. NQBA is the profit of the second producer. From this, the anticipated profit of Mr. X has come down from ONCP to ONAP1. ONCP to ONAP1 because the second producer fixed the price at OP1. This price situation would bring more profit for both with change in the proportion of each share in the output. The two producers will come to equilibrium finally. According to Cornet model, final stage is achieved when the rival produced 2/3 of the total output, each contributing 1/3 of the total. I repeat, according to Cornet model, the final stage is achieved when rival produced 2/3 of the total output, each contributing 1/3 of the total.